You are watching the Global Gamers Invitational Tournament brought to you by iFixit. SCVs for the real world. The Handsome Nerd attire for the handsomest of nerds. And Esports United, sponsored by Intel. This broadcast is also made possible by ICCup TV, TeamLiquid.net, and of course, Blizzard Entertainment. Hello everyone and welcome back. This is Mac. I am here with Railcoon, and we have, with ICCup TV, are proud to bring you Game 2 of this match between Huck and the Red Zerg opponent, SenZ, under the name Softball. So this is the Global Gamers Invitational. We are in the round of 8, Game 2 here on Scrap Station. Huck taking Game 1 surprisingly quickly in about 7.5 minutes as I recall. And of course, SenZ having the next map choice. We are here on Scrap Station. Now, before we begin, I do want to once again thank those sponsors: iFixit, SCVs for the real world, Esports United, sponsored by Intel, and the Handsome Nerd attire for the handsomest of nerds. So we can talk more about that last game, but I think we've already said enough. Very surprising, but SenZ is clearly not out. He's a really skilled player, and I sincerely doubt that he won't get at least one more win in the rest of the series.
Yeah. And it is a best of 5, so Huck would have to win at least 2 more. On Scrap Station here, he's going to be a little bit more comfortable with a fast hatch strategy. We did see that he actually went pool first, I believe, on the last game.
It was actually it was extractor pool. I think it was a 13 extractor or 14 pool, and then an expansion around 20. Very safe and conservative.
But here on Scrap Station, the rush distance is a little bit longer. You do see most Zerg players will drop their hatchery first. But SenZ actually going for this spawning pool. This could just be something because of the fact that like almost every Zerg is hatching at the moment. And, you know, Huck is down here diligently blocking this expansion, and here comes the drone to fight with it. But of course, he doesn't even have nearly close to enough resources to actually drop this hatchery right here. So he's forcing Huck to spend his time and effort and 100 minerals to drop this pylon to block a hatchery, which is not coming anytime soon. It's something we see some good players do quite a bit, and I'm curious as to like if this quick spawning pool is just so he can do a whole lot of like early Zergling aggression like we saw last game, because he was being super aggressive with those Zerglings.
And it isn't a bad map for it, especially given the size of the ramp. A bit harder to wall off. He needs to get that second building, and it is a cyber core. Cyber core is, of course, a very vulnerable building. Baneling busts are an option, too. He can put a hole in one of those pylons, rush in with the lings, have fun with the probes. So there are a lot of options, but still I would expect to see an expansion coming up from SenZ regardless. It looks like he has rallied his lings and queen there, so he certainly is going for the expansion.
Yeah, and he's at around that 20-22 supply mark, where the Zerg player really wants an expansion right now if they did go pool first.
He is
Terran sometimes.
He is sitting on a lot of minerals, yeah. Finally getting that hatchery down with 200 to spare, so very, very late expansion, and that's not what he wants.
Yeah, so, you know, he did wind up delaying that hatchery a little bit with that pylon, but a lot of instances, if the Zerg player times it out right by sending that drone down early, you can wind up clearing out the Protoss blocking your expansion by the time you hit around 20 supply, so that if you do it just right, you don't get delayed at all when the Protoss player is putting a lot of time and effort into trying to block it, and then it's just like, whatever, I still get it at 20.
Now you'll see SenZ is diligently spreading out those lings. You can see they're just running all over the map, checking for proxy anythings. And Huck, with his characteristic aggression, is moving in with the Stalker and Zealot, trying to catch that one Overlord, but that's nowhere near the position. And it looks like he actually is going all the way with these 2 units. These very aggressive Stalker, Zealot, and that probe. Looks like he's going to save that probe just in time, and SenZ does retreat. So we'll see if this aggression keeps on going, or if he pulls back, as those Speedlings are going to kick in about a minute, and 2 Queens will make this very hard for Huck to do any damage.
Yeah, just a note, you know, SenZ is in the quote-unquote unfavorable position here on Scrap Station, as he did get that creep tumor down. It takes this extra creep tumor to get the creep all the way down the ramp here, just to extend his mobility just a little bit more. Interesting note was he caught that probe right as it was going up the ramp at the high ground next to his expansion with a Zergling. So I don't know if Huck was maybe trying to sneak a pylon again, because we did see him try that last game. Nice surround on that Stalker. Zealot goes down to a lot of Zerglings. His other Stalker is running for dear life. They are equal speed until this upgrade finishes for the Zerglings, but it's less than 15 seconds away. So this Stalker might not get away. It looks like he will get close enough to the base to scare off those Zerglings before the speed finishes. So that one Stalker, very, very luckily, manages to slip away, get back home, and Huck's going to feel a little bit safer by keeping that one Stalker alive.
Still, he's in a very precarious position at the moment. He is getting the forge and pylons down, creating a nice... And the Zerglings do get inside just past that sentry. This is a disaster now. The Zerglings tearing up those probes, and this is very bad news for Huck. He was just too slow, lost way too many units early on, and he is paying the price. Great control by SenZ, keeping those Lings alive, keeping enough of them alive at once to be able to continue to do damage to probes. You have too few, you can't snipe a probe fast enough, and he still has enough intact, and he's keeping Huck very busy, while meanwhile in his base, Roach Warren going down and a million drones. 7 drones being produced, exactly what SenZ wants to do on this map.
Yeah, and SenZ tried to sneak those Zerglings out just to keep some of them alive, which would have been a really nice move. But Huck got a force field onto the gap in his wall at the very last moment, so he did wind up killing every single one of those Zerglings in his base. Now he's moving out across the map. 2 of the Stalkers have actually stopped. 3 of the Stalkers have stopped. Is he actually moving out, or is he just sort of repositioning? It looks like he's repositioning. Nope, Stalkers are coming back, so it looks like he's going to make a push towards SenZ. And this is right after he made a bunch of drones, like you said. So if you look at the unit station, SenZ has 6 Zerglings. There are Roaches being produced right now, but they only just started, so it's going to take a while before those are done. There are Spine Crawlers being built, but those only just started. So SenZ's going to be struggling to hold this, because that's a lot of sentries. That's a lot of force fields. If he places those just right, he could do a bunch of damage. Using that Spine Crawler and the force fields to wall, SenZ cancels the Spine Crawler so it'll open up the wall, and Huck re-walls it anyway. So excellent control on both ends, but Huck is getting the better side of this equation so far. Here comes the Roaches, but so he does have to throw down more force fields, but he's running out of sentry energy, and the Roaches are coming from both sides. So Huck is going to have to back off. He's losing a lot of sentries. But he will be able to retreat with some of his forces, and SenZ will be able to hold that off, but it was a little scary there for a moment.
You really saw the effect of the Roach change there. That little bit of extra range made it much harder to control them with the force fields, and in this retreat, Huck is just unable to get away. I mean, look how far those Roaches are shooting from. Very, very hard to micro the Stalkers to avoid too much damage.
Yeah, if you were really good with your Stalker micro before the range change, even without Blink, you could avoid a lot of damage on your Stalkers just because they were so much faster, especially when using Zealots as well. So he tries to take out all those units with those Roaches, but he just amazing control by Huck there. Just microing this last Stalker around and letting the Zealots add a lot of damage, because they do hit the Roaches very hard, even though their armor reduces 2 full damage instead of 1, since they hit twice. But there's so much... They're slow, but when they do get into melee, they cut them down very quickly. That was a lot of Roaches to lose there for only a couple of Stalkers. So it will set SenZ back just a little bit. If you look at the worker count, they're pretty much dead even right now, as SenZ is behind by about 7, but with a Zerg player, that worker count can explode at any given moment. So the next point in time where he feels comfortable enough to make a round of drones, he'll pretty much catch up and be even with Huck.
And that is certainly the case, because SenZ just produced another 7 drones, so he's now up ahead of Huck. And just like in the previous fight where the Zerglings were inside the Protoss base, SenZ took that opportunity when his opponent was on the defensive to build a ton of drones. Huck did the same thing during that aggressive moment, built a ton of probes. He has 2 expansions, now has a phase prism, Immortals on the way. He is poised to attack again. SenZ, meanwhile, wasting no time, getting that hatchery up, pushing the creep so efficiently. He's now almost already there at the 3rd base, and meanwhile Huck taking down the rocks, trying to cut those Zerg bases in half, because if you have this new angle of attack, you're able to hit all 3 bases from the same vantage point without them all having a unified front. So this is great to see early aggression from Huck, and he's just pulling back. No need to be aggressive, and I do like that play. He doesn't need to be aggressive quite yet. He needs to get his tech caught up a little bit, a few more Immortals to deal with those Roaches. He has a nice healthy Zealot count and a few Stalkers, but he just needs that artillery, and it's not quite there yet. Huck looks like he is getting ready to move out. The Stalkers are here, so I think we're going to be seeing a push any moment. And army-wise, Sen very far behind, way more supply in roaches, roaches rather, in pro drones. That's the word. Too many drones for Sen, and
So,
Huck is poised to do some serious damage.
where's the observer of Huck? Okay, there it is. It's coming in because that's an important point because he is just about to finish Tunneling Claws and Burrow. So if he did not actually have his observer in position, Sen would be able to do some of that nice Burrow micro with the Tunneling Claws. They heal up very quickly. It's effectively just like microing Blink for roaches. But now that he has the observer in position, he has got 3 immortals. He's in an excellent position here to push in. He's going to try and take out this Overseer as well, but here comes Sen, pushing in, baiting a couple force fields, and managing to just barely slip out. That's a nice job there to check the force field energy. He's still got quite a few force fields, actually only about 3 more. So that's going to make Huck want to back off a little bit. But even just having his units here, with these rocks gone, is going to force Sen to have to play differently, because he knows he's vulnerable. He can't invest too heavily in this third base, just because Huck's right here at this side entrance. Huck has to be really careful about fighting here, because that's not the best angle of attack. Sen can set up a really nice concave at the exit of this bridge. So he either wants to draw Sen back into the middle of the bridge, or he wants to be able to get out into the open field before he engages. You can see he was kind of aware of that and he did back off. But just having that angle of attack open is a threat to Sen, and you can see that just by the way he's positioning.
Now, although Huck didn't attack, and he did do some very nice damage, good harass on the Overlords, and this Immortal, I don't know what he's doing there. Oops! Huck loses an Immortal for absolutely nothing, and another engagement getting ready to happen at the third expansion of Sen. That creep highway is now fully up and running, so those roaches are just lightning fast, and it's so hard for Huck to catch anything exposed right now. Meanwhile, Sen is beginning to transition into Roach Hydra. He has level 2 upgrades for both range and armor on the way, so Sen really looking better in terms of tech. He's grabbing that Spire, planning ahead for Colossus would be my guess, but I don't think Huck even threw down a robotics base. Did he not?
No, he's still cranking Immortals out of this robotics facility. In fact, he has 2 robotics facilities making Immortals. So he's really working on countering these roaches. So if Sen gets a bunch of mutas, but here we go, huge battle. It's a lot of roaches, but there's a ton of Immortals here. He really needs to focus these down, because they will blast his roaches out of the sky. But he is getting into a really nice position, focusing down these Immortals, but there's so many of them on the field. You can see that he's killing these Immortals, but he's just lost the majority of his forces, because these Immortals kill the roaches so easily. There are several Hydralisks coming out on the field, which will help a lot, but he has not hit that critical mass of Hydras yet, so he does want to back off, re-macro a little bit, get some more Hydras out in behind his forces, using that Burrow to heal up. Very nice job. A lot of players forget that they can do that with their Burrow in between engagements, just healing up back to full with his roaches. Now with these Hydras, he will be able to do a little bit better in this engagement, so let's see how this goes. Sen looks like he does not actually want to engage here, because Hydras are a little bit awkward off the creep. But, you know, both players playing a little bit of a positioning battle at the moment, trying to lure each other into a worse positioning. Sen's trying to lure Huck onto the creep, but Huck just won't do it. You can see this Roach Hydra with the Hydras is killing these units of Huck so much faster now. Huck is backing up. He does not have that many forces left. He's down to 4 Immortals and 4 Stalkers, and the Immortals are going down very quickly to the Hydralisks. Now there's just Stalkers. We look back up at Huck's main, there's not really that much coming to reinforce, and he does GG.
So a well-played game by Sen in there. Huck was beginning to transition. He had a Dark Shrine on the way, but unfortunately he just let his opponent have that third base for a bit too long. They were tied in the worker count for a long time there, but a lot of it was total excess. You know, he had 60 probes on one base, meanwhile Sen was mining healthily off of all 3. So Sen just out-upgraded, out-macroed, level 2, weapons and upgrades, and well-played. Tied at 1. Zerg winning on Scrap Station. Who would have thought?
Yeah, that never happens, does it?